Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
I promise you, this is not a political podcast.
Jump from the deep end of the pool, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. Paranoid radio, set up the mood. 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 Set up the mood.
I think this episode is going to bring a lot of good information, powerful information, not only to listeners, but most importantly, those people that are caregivers and fathers and mothers. Testicles 1, 2. Testicles. Welcome back to Paranoid Radio Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Trebles Garcia, your humble host. And I want to thank the Lord for allowing me to be here today. And I want to thank every single one of you for allowing me to enter your space. And I also want to remind you that the most important thing that you can do for the show today is word of mouth. Do not forget to check us out at paranoidradio.com. Check out the affiliations. Mad shout outs to Flavors of the Forest. Today you can get 15% off on Flavors of the Forest. Check us out and check them out also in the description of the show. And do not forget to drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcast. That allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. All right, here we go. An amazing episode lined up, guys, with an amazing special guest. She is a great health information provider. She's a curator and a caregiver, and she is also a creative director of a very specific channel on Instagram. Allow me to jump in from deep into the pool and set the mood. Please give a warm welcome to Allie Christine, the owner of Make Kids Healthy Again on Instagram. Hey.
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing but I'm doing better with you now, and I'm thankful that you're here. Thank you.
Fantastic. Yeah, thank you.
Hey, I love what you're doing out there. I love the information that you're putting out. It's very important, and you have a very refreshing way to settle in the delivery of the information. Please let the people know where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Make Kids Healthy Again, or my website at makekidshealthyagain.com, or Facebook is Allie Christine 512.
Make sure you check her out. Ladies and gentlemen, for any reason that you guys can find her because she might be shadow banned because of all the information that she's putting out, do not hesitate on checking her out on the description of this episode. Hey, we were just talking on behind the show right before we started breaking the ice that most Latinos in LA, and just speaking for myself here and people that I know in my community, we eat a lot of hot Cheetos, Takis, Tampico juice, and all these sugary substances that we shouldn't be eating, and we go our lives and having babies with other people that consume the same stuff, never knowing how to deworm yourself or treat your body like a temple.
Your body is a temple, and boy, let me tell you, those artificial dyes, high fructose corn syrup, all of those things are extremely toxic in your body, and it leaches in your body and displaces minerals. So now you're mineral deficient. Now you've got gut dysfunction, and now you're creating a terrain, an environment that's perfect breeding ground for parasites.
You make it sound like it's a good thing.
It's not a good thing at all. So I've done tons of parasite cleanses in my life, and I just started a new one from the company I'm an affiliate with. And let me tell you something, friend. What is coming out of my body right now? It's
Whoa.
insane. Like,
is it alive? Does it move?
No, it's not alive, thank goodness. But I did have to go get 2 little straws and play around. Like, what is that really what that is? Like, oh my gosh. That is a whole worm in the toilet. And these things are living inside of your body. They get in your brain, they get in your organs, they get in your tissues, and like feed off of your nutrients. And here's the crazy thing. So women, I don't know if you have a lot of women listeners, but men, tell your wives, we pass our toxin, fungal, and parasitic loads onto our babies in utero. So now, like, you've got this beautiful, perfect baby growing inside of you that's absorbing all your critters and all your toxins. So we need to clean up our diet and deworm before you decide to get pregnant. Because oh my god, look,
talking about we normally talk about mental illness And we think about it, it's like, oh, it's just a chemical imbalance. Does that have to do anything with it too?
Parasites can absolutely control your mind. I just started a new book. I got it on Amazon that called Your
Mhm.
Brain on Parasites because
Mhm.
they do control your brain, your thoughts, your mood, your actions. It's insane what these critters actually do. Like, what?
What?
They are literal aliens inside making you do things. And so those sugar
Mhm.
cravings that you get, more than likely it's the parasites because that's what they feed and thrive off of. So they're like, oh, eat more of this. These kids with picky eating,
Mhm.
only craving sugars and starches and beige foods, like that's them parasites. They're telling you to go eat that so they can reproduce and thrive.
I love the way that you just brought this in. You just jumped right in, and that's exactly what we do. We are paranoid on this end of the pool, and you jumped right in. I was having a conversation with a coworker, and people know him people know him on the show as Juan. He's my fourth leg, and he's a Bible thumping Christian warrior. And I love that he's in my life because I'm not sure how biblical you are, but he's made me turn to God more than often, more than usual, right? And I cherish him a lot. Today we were mentioning about demon worms, and I was like, demon worms, bro? Really, dude? Like, what are you gonna tell me now? He was like, no, 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 wait, marinate on it. These are worms that are in your gut that you know how you're craving gummy worms all the time? Yeah. Sour candy? Yeah. That's a demon worm because you've stopped doing drugs, you stopped drinking. Now you're looking for a different vice and you're having all these cravings that are not only not good for you, but they're going to make you fat, they're going to make you diabetic, and they're going to disbalance, they're going to make you unbalanced chemically.
Yeah. So I don't, there's a video floating around on social media, and I wish I could find it again and send it to you, but it's talking about how parasites are a demonic entity in our body and how, like, the way they control your thoughts. And if you think about the thoughts that aren't your own, they're usually bad thoughts, like schizophrenic and paranoia and sugar cravings and all of those things. They're not like of God. So what are they? They're demon thoughts, they're demon behaviors. It's insane to actually break it down and think about it.
That's hardcore. I love it.
I know. Okay, so this might be a little bit TMI, but we're going to go there. All right. So,
Yep.
um, I did not get the COVID jab. However, shedding is real. So I had a heart attack in July of 2022 at 40 years old, and I'm pretty healthy, right?
What?
Go to the hospital, and they're like, "Oh, they first diagnosed it as Takotsubo." I'm like Googling what this is like. No, that's not right. So then the next cardiologist comes in, and he's like, "Oh, you have myocarditis from COVID." Okay, so
Hmm.
I'm like, what? My heart was functioning at 40%. My heart rate was stable in the 40s. I was tired, exhausted, lethargic. I'm in the hospital again because I thought I had a repeat heart attack, but it was like
Hmm.
spasms or something. And I don't
Hmm.
know if when you have a heart attack, you have diarrhea, like you're going to the bathroom. It's just one of those symptoms, right? And I'm in the hospital and go to the bathroom, and there was something that came out of me that looked like a demon grasshopper. I kid you not. I'm standing in the hallway holding the bathroom door open, hollering, like, somebody come look at this. What is this? I'm 40. Like, I know what my stool looks like. Nobody, like crickets. There were no nurses, no doctors, no one to be found. And I stood there for a good 8 minutes hollering. Nobody came. So then I went back to my room, right? The nurse comes and I tell her about it. She looks at me like I have three heads and hands me one of those toilet tents. And it's like, oh, here, next time you go, put it in here. I did that. That was 2022, is 2025. I still don't have those results back. I've called, I've sent messages in my chart. Nobody wants to answer me about where my store results are. Like, I know it was in that toilet. So lying to me. So my theory is like I had some kind of like parasite in my heart, and that heart attack loosened that mammy out, and he came right on out in the toilet.
Are you serious?
I mean,
Dude.
I don't know for a fact, but I mean, it makes sense when you connect the dots and line it up. Like, okay, okay, that's what that was. And y'all don't want to give me my store results back? What are y'all hiding?
I don't want to get too crazy conspiratorial here,
Why
but
not?
I was having a conversation with a good friend of mine. I didn't air that part of the show because people are gonna think that I'm too crazy. But hey, yeah, I'm here now. Um, um, so Juan, his name is Juan also, but he's a huge podcaster. Juan Ayala. He said this. He said, there's sometimes in third world countries, these shaman, curanderos, witch people that practice the art, they when they cleanse your body with using other magic, right? They pull things out of your body that look like parasites, things out of your throat, hair strands, things that look like. Have you ever seen a cyst? You know how
Yeah.
a cyst has like teeth and has hair particles and has like it's like a mini you that's broken inside of you, kind of like
Yep.
that you're growing a nasty thing inside. So they pull these things out, and those are considered curses or generational curses, kind of like what you said. So let's hypothetically say you're having your thing with your paramour, and then boom, she's pregnant now. The girl is having a baby, but he has a generational curse. He has one of these quote unquote cursey
Beings.
voodoo parasites beings. Then he just passed it on to her. The baby now has it, and it's a generational curse. This is why the Bible. Wow, I just connected parasites to curses. That's wild. Yep,
It makes sense.
makes sense. Makes sense. Hey, all right, kids.
Kids.
The future. I have two beautiful daughters on my own, and I think this is one of the most important things. Not only makeup, food, water that they're drinking, the way that they're developing, learning, and they're a sponge right now, both of them. One of them is going through her teenage years, and she's all over the place. And sometimes she seems like she's happier on the phone talking to I don't know who than talking to her parents that gave her everything. Kind of hurts. It hurts my heart. But I'm looking at her and I'm thinking, okay, what's in your little body that's making you uneven, right? I know what it means. Like teenage years. What is it? What's that called? Your hormones are all crazy. I understand, but how can I help you regulate that, right? Same question. I think every other parent out here is thinking the same thing.
First and foremost, our kids are being attacked on every level, right? The food, water, air, like you said, medications, birth controls. Like, what are we doing to our kids? They're bombarded with toxins on every level, causing their hormones and their mood and their everything to be completely out of whack, which
Mhm.
then you've got toxicity issues, which then wreaks havoc on the gut. You've got gut dysfunction going on. We've got to be detoxing these kids every single day, every day. You've got to detox. You've got to watch what you allow in your home. Get rid of those Takis, rid of your hot Cheetos. They're so bad. Or moderation, right? Like an 80-20 lifestyle, but be sure you're detoxing and working on your gut health. Gut health is so important. Your gut's your second brain. You've got to be taking care of that gut.
You think
Clean
I've heard
water.
this before. I think I forgot what podcast it was. I heard I considered the gut the first brain because you feed it and then it releases the information. That energy gets passed around to the big brain up top, and then all the chemical releases, right? All the chemical stuff. That's crazy.
Yep.
You're right.
Yep. Yep.
What are some of the things that you've seen lately that kids are suffering and enduring, and some of the things that we could tell the audience as consumers on how to change?
So the majority of the kids I work with are speech delayed, developmentally delayed, sensory issues, autism, ADHD, and it all stems back down to toxicity, gut health. A lot of my autism and ADHD kids have brain inflammation, and that's huge with those stemming behaviors, repetitive behaviors. So we detox, we take care of our guts. I don't know if you've heard of the Ayurvedic herbs, Bacopa and Gotu. Dude,
Mm.
that's a powerhouse right there. You've got to have them in your life. They reduce brain inflammation, help create new neural pathways, boost memory and cognition. They calm down the neurotransmitters in the brain, converting glutamate to GABA. Um, Powerhouse right there. They're absolutely phenomenal.
You gotta send
Breathing.
me that link.
I
Send that
will.
link. Mm.
I will.
Mm.
Balancing the nervous system. All these kids are stuck in fight or flight, so they feel like you're holding them over the ledge all the time. We see a pediatric chiropractor through PX Docs. They're phenomenal. We love them. Great, great tool to have in your tool belt.
Mm.
But I think it starts at home with diet, lifestyle, what you allow in your home, what you feed your stomach.
Whoa.
Huge part.
It is. It is. And it's really hard. It's really hard. And I'm gonna speak in behalf of my community. There is an issue with poverty. And believe it or not, it's easier to freaking go buy a bag of meth than buy a solid steak for your kids tonight.
I
And
know.
and sometimes there's a lot of families out here that I know personally, some that, dude, the man eats twice a day, maybe only once, just to give their kids a solid meal at night. And that meal comes up to be something microwavable or something that's fast food or, the
Yeah.
means. They download a specific app and they even get you going like this. They get you to download the app so that they could give you more food for a tighter buck, right? It's kind of like Kiss. I've said this on the show before. Um, Kiss, the band, they would sell you condoms with their faces on it, and then they would sell you caskets with their faces on it. They got you coming and going. It's the same thing with all these other, foods
It's
and stuff. It's crazy stuff, man.
Do you know it'd be really cool if we brought back like a barter system with like our local farmers and all that stuff and brought back like a barter system so you could get clean, organic, homegrown foods and barter for it. Because you're right, it's I shouldn't have to pay more because you don't poison my food. Do you
And
remember when
and
all food was organic and you didn't have to label it organic because it was just clean?
mhm, in California, I think if they give the chickens and the hens and the cows, I think it's 6 more feet. Correct me if I'm wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Hashtag look it up. I think it's 6 more feet of corral,
Yeah.
and they're called free range chickens just because they got what 6 more feet in their cage. And then you can't collect rainwater, so you have to depend off bottled water. You have to go get your Arrowhead water or
Yeah.
Fiji or whatever it is, bottled, and the plastic's all messed up. Then you got the fluoride in the water, and I mean, it's all contaminated. All your senses, you're entrapped. It
Well,
really is a
I mean, do you
matrix.
really even want to collect rainwater anymore with all that stuff they're spraying?
I'm surprised you're saying that. I didn't know you were into like deep into it.
I don't know that I want to collect that either.
I wanted to ask you something personal here. So I
Okay.
messaged you and I emailed you and I told you, hey, I'm having cravings, bad ones. And I don't know if it's because I just stopped using or drinking or I'm not sure if I have almost 5 months sober, thank God, from alcohol and almost a year from doing meth. And I'm like, okay, I feel cognitively different. I'm eating a lot more now, right? Um, my aches are leaving. My arthritis isn't kicking in no more as bad. And I like it. Feels good. But I'm craving a lot of sugar. And I'm sure a lot of people out here are going through the same. I'm only 34 years old, man. And I'm not sure if it's because I stopped using drugs or what it is, but I'm addicted to sugar and coffee. And oh my God, I can't start my day without eating something sweet.
Okay. So I'm sure you do have parasites, but this is something I don't talk about often enough. I talk about it on my Facebook page, but not so much my Instagram because it's not the place to be. I'm a recovering addict myself.
Whoa.
I will have 5 years clean in June from meth as well. My husband too.
Mm,
Um, when I first got clean, dude, those cravings were like nothing I've ever experienced in my life because you're taking one addiction away, and what are you going to replace it with? What's
mm,
close? What can I easily access to fulfill
mm,
that dopamine hit that I so desperately need right now? It's food.
mm,
So
mm.
if you find something else to fill that dopamine hit, you'll quit eating so much.
Whoa.
My husband skydives. That's his dopamine hit. Um, I do all kinds of things that I find fun. I'm in school. I play with my kid. I take him outside and ride his dirt bike. I help other moms. And honestly, helping other moms is my dopamine hit. Like it makes me so happy when a mom comes to me and says, you know what, my kid's making progress. They quit beating their head against the wall. They quit having sensory issues. They quit having meltdowns. So that gives me that dopamine hit. But it calms down after the first year, year and a half. It really does. I'm proud of you. Congrats.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks. This is
I'm so
fun.
glad. I'm so glad that we had this conversation. We're connecting here. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta get you in contact with some of my other friends and with Janet, deplorable Janet. I think she'll have a kick having you on the show or conversating with you alone just on health stuff. She's an registered, and she's a retired nurse. And oh my God, the stuff that she brought forth on the show was enlightening. Yeah.
Yeah, let's connect.
Yes.
Be fun.
Okay. Tell me more. Um, you said brain inflammation? Why is this happening?
So, well, in our kids,
Uh-oh. I think I lost you. Uh-oh.
blood
And she'll be right back. Small interference here. Where are you? Where are you? Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. No, 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 no. Oh, there she is. Oh, I just
There we go.
messaged you.
Sorry, I had to switch my internet. I'm upstairs and it likes to jump around on me up here.
I'm glad you're back.
Yeah. So I don't know how much I kept talking, but it might have cut off. So tell me where I cut off.
I lost you exactly when I asked you the question. Brain information.
Okay, so for our kids, the blood-brain barrier is not fully formed yet. And so you
Mm,
go getting vaccines or that heavy toxic load we talked about, and those
mm,
toxins and pathogens are able to permeate the blood-brain barrier and sit in the midline of the brain and create that inflammation.
mm.
In older kids, it's the same thing. They get leaky gut or they get that heavy toxic load, and it weakens the blood-brain barrier and crosses in and creates that inflammation. When the inflammation becomes chronic and is not addressed, you get apoptosis, which is cell death. And then we've got permanent brain damage on our hands. So we've got to address it like ASAP and get that inflammation down and get those toxins out.
I have a 3-year-old and she's jumping off the bed and she's always hitting herself. I need to know what are the symptoms. Now it's getting personal for me right now.
So usually kids with brain inflammation have the stimming behaviors, the repetitive behaviors, the tics, the head banging, the self-injuries where they'll beat themselves in the head, the lack of eye contact, they don't respond to their names. It's usually the autistic kids that have
Mm,
some of those behaviors.
okay. Thank God.
She's okay. She does need a detox. We all need a detox, but it's usually not until that toxic load becomes extremely overburdened that we have to really worry.
Is milk bad for you? And I'm talking to you like you're my doctor.
I do not drink grocery store milk. They've heated it up to such a high temperature and burned off all the probiotics in it and then
Mm,
reintroduced fake stuff back into it. We
mm,
drink raw milk. Raw milk's amazing. It has pure form of all the probiotics and minerals in
mm,
it, and it's actually very gut healing. When my son was vax injured, we were told to drink raw milk, and I was still kind of like, told you on that fence, like, what? Raw milk's bad. We're gonna get diseases and die. But we've
mm.
been drinking raw milk for 3 years, and we love it. I won't drink anything else.
Thank you for the tip.
You're
I gotta
welcome.
find myself a cow now. Where do you buy one of those?
So you're in California. I think you can do that.
Bacon
What's that?
shield.
I can't think of their name right now. There's a place that has it in Cali. I'll send you the link.
Please. The link on that and then the powerhouse
Let me write it
supplement that you
down.
were talking about earlier,
Oh,
please.
Bacopa and Gotcha Cola. Yeah.
Um, Now I hope you don't mind me asking you this, but what happened with you were telling me earlier on before we started playing recording, but what happened with your son? What happened with your kid? You,
So
you don't have to share if you don't feel comfortable.
no, it's okay. So like I said, I was in recovery.
Mm,
I got into recovery when I was pregnant with him. And so I told the doctors like, hey, I've been doing meth, like I'm 3 months pregnant, just in case something goes wrong. Like I need you to know. Fully trusting doctors at this point, right? Like, oh yeah,
mm,
they'll know what to do if something's wrong.
mm,
Pregnancy was fine. I was in recovery. But of course CPS was already like called because like, hey, this girl said she was doing meth. Like we need to watch her, right? So I had to do drug tests, all that stuff throughout my pregnancy. But then I had to be induced early because I became preeclamptic and we were in the NICU for a week. Then we were released. And so when we went to the pediatrician, they bullied me into vaccinating him. We're going to call CPS again if you don't, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, I'm scared to
huh.
death. Like, oh, they're going to like
Interesting.
take my kid away. Like, I don't want to take my kid away. If they've already been called once, like they might take it. I'm scared to death. So I'm okay, sure, whatever, vaccinate him. So it was his 1 year checkup and I'll never forget it. He got MMR and DTaP and the other ones. That night, he spiked a fever of 104, ran the fever for a week straight. I've got videos on my page. This kid was saying, hi, daddy, mama, da, 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 bye, pulling up, starting to walk, like all the things, bright, bubbly, responding to his name. Ran that fever for a week straight and he disappeared. Like, I don't know where he went. He got this glaze over his eyes. He stopped talking, stopped walking, started violently beating his head on the walls, the hardwood floor, my dresser. He would take his hands and do this, and just this high pitched squeal that is just so ear and heart piercing. It's undeniable. Like when I hear another child do that squeal, I immediately know because there's no other squeal like it, right? Um, and so we worked with them for a while. We went to therapy. They didn't want to do anything. Oh, we'll wait and watch. Oh, we'll wait and watch. Oh, go to therapy. Oh, here, let's send them to teach to get an autism diagnosis. Dude, I've got 6 kids. Like, what? Um, so I started on the internet, Dr. Google at 4 a.m., researching, reading, talking to other people in the holistic space, and found a naturopath. And we worked with her, and she ran some tests on him and said, nope, he's got a heavy toxic load. He's mineral deficient. He has extremely high glutamate, high dopamine. His gut is a wreck. He had zero good bacteria in his gut, tons of pathogens. So we had to get to work, right? And it took about a year before he was flip-flopped. It took about 3 months before he kind of snapped out and started making eye contact again, responding to his name. About 6 months in, he started saying bye, yummy, a couple little words here and there. But it's insane that parents are made to feel crazy when a doctor sees your child for maybe 5 minutes, maybe every how many months. You're with them day in, day out, 24/7, 365. Like, your
Word.
child. And when
Word.
something happens, like that's it. And we were given this beautiful God-given instinct, this mother's, dad's intuition for our kids that we know, right? And I knew, and they tried to gaslight me. I had to call early intervention services myself. They diagnosed him expressive and receptive speech delay, sensory processing disorder, autism, and I'm like, this ain't right. Like, this ain't right. Like,
Mm.
and so we just went the whole natural route, and now he's 4, and you'd never know. He is sassy as all get out. I told you, riding dirt bikes, doing all the things, girl crazy already. I got to call my girlfriend, typical 4-year-old little boy, So it's beautiful what happens when you trust your intuition that God gave you and get back to God's original design and follow that.
God is good.
He's
What a testimony,
amazing,
man.
amazing.
Yes. That was intense. I was at the edge of my seat on that one, dude. You know why? You know
Wow,
what?
what?
I had a thing I put up, it went viral. I posted up on my page, and it was an acted out scenario of a young mother talking to a young doctor, and the nurse was present, and this is acted out. I admit it was fake. However,
Right,
the doctor was telling her, you have to, your kid is being diagnosed with ADHD, whatever, and we have to give him this shot now. And if you don't want to, I mean, you could choose not to, but we're gonna have to call CPS on you. And then they went back and forth, and she was arguing with him, bad, and it was acted out. Again, I admit it for
right.
the third time, guys. I had so many people comment on that post saying this is fake. But the amount of support that people with these testimonies that came out in my defense, and to say, regardless if it's fake or not, it actually happens around the world. It happens to more people that you think that are that are harmless, the people that are less educated, people that have less means for resources, people that it happens in the ghetto. It happens a lot. It happens to rich people half the
It
time.
does.
So I'm thinking, whoa, what the heck? I don't think only poor people use drugs. Believe it or not, there's
No,
more
they
out
don't.
there.
They don't. They don't.
So I'm thinking, think about it like this, bro. They're threatening to take away your child if you don't give them a pharmaceutical drug that they're getting a kickoff at the end of the year for, that they're going to the Bahamas at the end of the
Yep.
year for. You see what I'm
Yep.
saying, right? So it's not
Oh yeah.
because they really care about your children. These guys are specifically fine-tuned weapons of mass destruction,
Yes. Look,
right?
if you ask a pediatrician, tell me the ingredients of these vaccines, tell me what's in them. 90% of them, I guarantee you, have no idea what's in them.
Mm.
They just
Hmm.
know the schedule, when they're supposed to get what, and that they're safe and effective. That's about the extent of what they're taught. They don't know the ingredients, they don't know the side effects. It's insanity. Don't get me down that rabbit hole of the whole Rockefeller funded medical.
Please, please explode. We
I
got 10 more
st-
minutes in this place.
I started community college fresh out of high school, wanting to go to nursing school, right? And for some beautiful reason, I was pulled away. Like, I don't know why. I can't tell you why. All I can say now is God. I decided something else was more important and went doing something else. And now looking back at it, like that was God, because look, Rockefeller funded all of these schools, all the medical schools. He funded their education. He funded what they're taught. Why? Why? So they can push pharma drugs. It's all a big profit system, big food, big ag, big pharma. They're all in cahoots together. They make you sick
Mm.
with their poison food. They're going to treat you with their poison pills. It's just like there's no profit in healthy people. There's no money there. There's no money in healthy kids. Well, they've been in business for how long and nothing's ever been cured. There's no cure for the common cold.
Yeah, but the common cold, the common cold disappeared when COVID hit. Huh. What happened to the
So did,
flu?
so did the
Hmm.
flu.
Yeah, what happened to the flu, guys? Oh, only COVID existed. Oh, I get it.
And
Yeah, I get it.
tell me this. If autism was genetic, shouldn't we be able to test for it in utero and point to that gene and say, yep, that's it?
Hmm.
But they can't pinpoint the gene that says, oh, that's the autism gene. Why? Because it's not genetic. It's a vaccine injury. It's a set of symptoms from injuries. And yes, there are autistic kids that haven't been vaccinated, but then you got to look at other environmental factors. Was the mom vaccinated? What kind of toxicity are they carrying? Do they have parasites? Do they have gut dysfunction? Like there's so many things that been lied
They
to.
they have the technology to hack your DNA with an mRNA vaccine, but they don't have the information nor the logic or technology to hack your DNA to eliminate that gene for autism, right? It's kind
Right,
of weird
right.
how that works out. It's kind of weird. It's
It
like
only
they
works when they want it to.
right, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not a flat earther, by the way, but hey, they said they went to the moon, but they can't replicate their technology because they so-called lost their technology. What, dude? Do you know how you guys sound right now? This is why conspiracy theorists are mainstream now. It's
Have you
wild.
seen the video of the two? There's like four of them supposedly in the space shuttle, and off to the left, the guy sits down a glass, and it doesn't go in. He sits in a glass of water, and it just stays there.
There
I'm
is
sorry.
a wild amount of videos out there debunking the freaking station, the space station.
Oh,
Um, I honestly think that the COVID-19, the whole COVID shot was not an experiment. I think these guys were all out blown trying to rush in even more. And I'm talking to rush because we're already living in part of this, but rush even more a more demonic agenda. And it has to be
yep,
demonic. It has to be a spiritual root to this. It can't just be because they want to control you and keep you a slave consuming every single day. There's something else about this, because it's going into the
absolutely.
DNA. What's the most sacred thing? Now, I'm trying to put this into a biblical lens. I hope you don't mind.
Yep, go ahead.
But what's the most sacred thing that Jesus spread for us, that he shed for us, was blood. The thing that connects us to the higher being, to the creator, it's blood. This happened before, like in the days of Noah. They hacked the
Yep,
DNA, they had Nephilim giants, and they were able to do atrocities, right? Look at what's happening now. It's kind
yep,
of funny.
it is. And the whole adrenochrome. Yep.
Harvested.
Mm.
It's wild.
It is wild. And you have thought, okay, so the ingredients in vaccines contains aborted fetal cell DNA, right? You
Mm.
don't know from whether it's from a male or a female fetus. So I wonder if the whole gender ideology is some gender confusion caused by that DNA being inserted in the vaccines.
Huh. I like that. I like that.
I
That
mean, I get
boosts
the
us
whole
up.
atrazine stuff. Like, I get
Hmm.
that. But then
Hmm.
if you think about, like, okay, well, what about the girls?
Hmm.
And I
You know
don't know.
what? You know what? And something that brings me up also, I like saying if you can get vitamin D from sunlight, you can get vitamin G from blue light. Stay away from your iPhones, guys. Use it minimally. I know I sound crazy, but dude, anything's possible nowadays, bro. There's so many spectrums of lights. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
There's
So
a reason they're there.
I want everybody to spend some time and digging through your stuff, liking your stuff, commenting on your stuff, learning from your stuff, sharing your stuff to other fellow parents. And even if they're not parents, guys, guide yourselves. And what I like to say is hashtag look it up. You know, a lot of us spend a lot of time watching ads on TikTok, not expanding your knowledge. And a lot of times, people that have information only get their information from YouTube University. And I'm not saying it's bad, but it only takes 5 seconds to go to the search bar and search up the information that we're giving you. Make sure you tell them where to find you, please, Allie.
Make Kids Healthy Again on Instagram, makekidshealthyagain.com, or on Facebook at Allie Christine 512.
That's right. And please, when you're done with school and you are a full-fledged doctor,
Naturopathic doctor.
naturopathic doctor, I want you to
Yes.
please spend another 30 to 40 minutes with me giving me your testimony and your documentary, if that's okay with you. It's an official
Absolutely.
invite.
Yep,
I
absolutely.
find
You
it
got it.
I find it very passionate, sorry. I find it very, very I'm I'm give you this very softly. I come from a very destructive place. Very destructive. At a low budget, low frequency level activity people, community. And I'm not being racist here, and I'm not saying black or brown are the worst. No, I'm just saying we fuck shit up. Okay, guys? And I could not imagine somebody like me stop tweaking, stop drinking, and becoming a freaking doctor, dude. Think about what you're saying. Nonetheless, you're a woman, a mother, you got kids, you have to be a wife, you have obstacles, right? And when you were
Yep.
going through the transformation, you were also pregnant, which means your hormones were off the wall. So it's even harder. Kudos and congratulations to that. Thank you so much for sharing that
Thank
part. And I
you.
would love to hear the rest of your story
Yeah,
sooner,
absolutely.
sooner than later. Yeah.
Yeah, of
Ladies and
course.
gentlemen, I want to thank you for being here today, and I want to thank every single one of you. Make sure you check us out, check her out, and check us out at ParanorRadio.com. Do not forget to drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. That allows other people to enjoy the show as much as I enjoy making it. Peace out. Whoa.